Hey, welcome back to Wifflemas. It is me, Nickens, the host with the most, coming back with another ranking video slash season review. And at the number 6 spot is the Western Wildcats. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let me know how you feeling about the videos, what you think about my rankings, and just, leave some love in the comments. So, going into this year, Wildcats coming off a pretty impressive season, looking to build off that. It felt like going in, the four-man roster was going to benefit them, and in the end, it did. Looking at the beginning of the season, right? I mean, they went 5-1. Sorry, 5-1 starting out the season. Swept the Mallards. A really good Mallards team. Beat the Cobras pretty handily in some close games. But, man, when they faced the Magic and when they faced the Preds and the Eagles, it looked like a different team. And eventually, I mean, it's hard to beat a good team twice. It's hard to beat a good team twice, and they lost to the Preds twice this year, both in the regular season and in the playoffs. And, man, It also seems like it's a symptom of they have three really good players, and they need that fourth. And if you're not having all four guys firing on all cylinders, it becomes really tough. Liam Jackson, man, he looked good all season, honestly. When he got in, he made an impact, and I think that was really good. Ty Smith only played in 5 games and didn't have a ton of impact. They had really solid pitching. I mean, pitching that can win you games. Now, I'm not saying like they had amazing or stellar years from Kyle, but they were pretty average within the league's average. They finished about 4th in pitching total, 4th, 5th, and 5th in batting. So I mean, it makes sense that they are a playoff team. They were up there, and they got it done. They were getting things done this season, and yeah. However, again, it seemed like they weren't necessarily complete. Sometimes Jackson Pearson would be on, sometimes he was off. Sometimes Nick would be on, and Nick Saylor didn't look like the same Nick Saylor this season. I'm gonna be honest; like he would have his moments where you're like, oh yeah, Nick's here, and then other times, man, he was missing. And I think that is what really hurt the Wildcats in the end. Is that obviously by the 7-8 record and losing in the playoffs, there wasn't as much consistency as you expected from the batting. And that's something that I'm going to keep saying for a lot of these lower teams, is that there wasn't as much consistency batting. They only had one guy above at 500 to getting on base, and that was Jackson. I know he only had 171 average, but he was still getting on base. And usually for the Wildcats, you're talking about guys who are above, you at least have 2 guys above 500, like well above 500. And it seems like symptom of they were playing against some really good pitchers who were striking them out. Jackson Pearson had 23 strikeouts. Nick Saylor had 23 strikeouts against opponents, and Kyle Schultz had 28 strikeouts for Nick Saylor, 23 strikeouts for Kyle. And that is pretty much symptomatic of what happened at the end of the season. I mean, they were struggling to score except in a few games. Sometimes they'd turn it on. They'd start out a little cold, and then they'd get it going. They move it, and then they wouldn't find it. Or they'd find it. They play when the Magic played the Magic. They figured it out, stunned Walgate, and then kind of fell flat the rest of the game. It was not consistent, and I think that was the big symptom for this year for the Wildcats. Definitely, they had a good showing in the playoffs, but again, when it came down to it, struggled to score. But still have a lot going for them, have draft picks. Kyle Schultz, obviously, is still an amazing player. Nick Saylor, still an amazing player. Jackson Pearson, an amazing player. And Liam Jackson, still a solid 4th. So what do? Maybe build some depth. Maybe there's an all-star, coming out of this draft that you want to look into getting. I think they have the third slot, maybe third pick, 4th pick. I haven't seen. I don't think the draft has been released just yet, draft order. But somebody can let me know in the comments if I'm wrong or not. I'm sure. But It'll be interesting to see how they build. These guys definitely are some of your more head to the grindstone, or sorry, nose to the grindstone kind of players. They're watching film. They are making sure they're on their best. I know Kyle is busy, but they'll be practicing. They'll be doing film reviews. They'll be looking at statistics. These guys know their stuff. They know wiffle ball in and out. They're going to be playing, and they're going to continue to improve. It's still by all means a young team, and these guys can still build into what they have going on. Get some draft capital. It will be interesting if they draft somebody. Are they going to pass on somebody? But I know Kyle. I know he's been at all the tournaments. I know he's watching. So maybe something happens. Maybe something comes of it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do the Wildcats do? Do they get a pitcher or a batter? I think it's tough to get somebody who's a pitcher. Maybe they focus on batting. But again, it felt like batting this year was a lot more momentum-based. Did you have the momentum? Were you seeing the pitcher well? Were you studying? So maybe they need somebody who maybe they trade away and get somebody. This is all options for the Wildcats. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day during Wiffle Mitts. Wildcats, number 6. I'll see y'all later.